Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. These are going to be the sex, love, money spreads for this weekend, February 9th through 11th, 2018. Before I get started, I'd just like to say, for those who don't resonate with the descriptions, sex, love, money, well, you can always think of it as sex as creation, because non-reproductive sex, the energy for that comes from the sacral chakra, which is all about creation. You can treat money as manifestation, and that comes from the solar plexus chakra because that's power. And you can think of love as the heart. Love is pretty much love is love. Love is love, and it is stability, security. So love is the heart and the root chakra, which is why I say love always dominates the energy in these spreads, because you are not capable of love, you are not capable of creation, of manifestation, if you do not at least feel safe and secure where you are now. So, yeah, you've got sex, love, money, also known as manifestation, love, and creation, love, and manifestation. That said, let me just go into the energies for the weekend. Love energy, as I said, it dominates, and what's coming up for love is there's going to be a lot of new opportunities, not just new opportunities for love, but new opportunities to embrace love in different flavors. What's coming up is people are being tasked with expanding their perspectives. There's a need to learn how to see things from more than one angle. And, if you're looking for love, if you are in a loving relationship, if you are happy not being in love, this is a new opportunity coming up this weekend for you to really just embrace your evolving perspective. So with the sex part of things, it feels like it's been a bit of a tough week for you all. It feels like the week has been pretty disjointed, and there's a struggle to get ahead. And if you've been feeling that, trust that you're not alone, because that's my week in a nutshell. Um, but yeah, the energy there is what it looks like right now is just very. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of fighting to get ahead, to get into the space you want, and with the fight always comes the reminder that you need to make sure that this is a space you want to be in, and that applies to sex, and that applies to whatever the reality is that you're creating. Make sure it's something you want to be in. And for money, for manifestation, this is a pretty I would say this is a pretty good weekend for that energy, because what's coming up for manifestation is that you're going to get out of the process what you put into it, and it's going to come out on not just one level but on another level. Your work is going to pay off in more space than one. So there's a need there, just have some keep the faith about you and trust that you will be made whole in everything you do. So with that said, let's get to the spreads. Let's break everything down. Just give me a second. If you chose the spread on the left, you have the star reversed for sex, you have the moon for love, and the Queen of Cups reversed for money. So, what jumps out right away is the star reversed. So, because sex is also creation, it's a little concerning because the star tells you that your greatest, your best that's yet to come really comes from you nurturing yourself, pouring deeply into yourself. Basically putting yourself first. And what's coming up with the star reverse is that people are not doing that. There are situations that they're giving too much of themselves to. They're not replenishing themselves. And that's a bit concerning, because if you desire to create beautiful things, you can't do that if your own cup is empty. So that's what's coming up here for sex. That's a little concerning. If you chose this spread on the left, I would really hope you can find a way to take some time this weekend and invest in things that restore you, that get you centered, that they just pop for you. So the star they're coming up, that's a real need to take care of yourself and put yourself first. And a lot of you are not doing that for the star to come up reversed. So if you're trying to get ahead, if you're trying to you know have some fulfillment in your creation, in your sex life, you need to start putting yourself first. You have to. It's not selfishness. It's about setting the standard for what is acceptable interaction with you. So I'll say that again. It's not about being selfish. It's about setting the standard for what acceptable interaction is with you. That's what nurturing yourself is about. It's about building yourself up, and it's about making sure that once you've built yourself back up, you're not going to take shit anymore. So if you chose this on the left, that's the note. You want to take that with you for sex. For I'm going to go with love next. For love, we have the moon. The moon coming up is a bit interesting because the energy really favors, like I said, the energy favors new experiences. But with the moon coming up, I'm getting the feeling the moon is upright. And with the moon, the feeling that the moon is giving me is that a lot of new opportunities are going to expose old wounds. That's kind of what's coming up here. The moon is a card of many things. It's of shadow work. So working within your darkness to give it light. Working within your vulnerabilities to turn them into strength. There's It feels like if you pick this card for love, for your stability, there's gonna be you might be triggered a little bit this weekend, but it's not about making you miserable. It's not about making you suffer. It's just about helping you to realize that you have holes that need to be closed up. You need to heal so you can move on and move on as a complete person. So what comes up for money here is the Queen of Cups reversed. And before I go into that, let me just point out an interesting pattern I've been noticing lately when I do spreads and when I'm doing readings. I'm seeing a lot of when I'll do a 3-card spread, and I'll see one card's upright, and then the 2 cards around it are reversed, or vice versa. And what this is telling me is like this really doubles down on this love energy being what dominates all. So, if you're feeling depleted sexually, it's because you've run into an old wound that you need to, you've run into an old blockage that you really need to push through. And so with that going into the Queen of Cups reverse, this is telling me that with your manifestation, it's time to take a less intuitive approach. The Queen of Cups is very thinking, feeling, nurturing, very intuitive, very emotional, very loving energy, and it feels like there's been far too much focus in feeling things out, and it's important that you remember that with intuition, you need action to accompany your intuition. You can feel all you want, but if you're not doing accordingly, it doesn't matter. So for money, for manifestation, this is kind of like the area. It's time, again, going back to the moon. It's really time. Those old wounds, those feelings, what keeps coming up, it's coming up because it's something you need to resolve and you need to release it. So for the money front, you want to, it's time to be a little less feeling and a bit more logical, a bit more logical, a bit more connected to your reality. And I say you have to connect to your reality. You have to be more connected to your reality because you can't change your reality into something you desire if that's what you want unless you've connected to it first. So you have to be more connected to your reality and focus on things as for what they are right now and see how you can govern yourself accordingly to bring about the change you're looking for. So that's what's coming up for money, for manifestation. There's a need to be less feeling. You have to get out of your feelings and you have to get out of your emotions in your head and you have to focus on the task at hand. If you're trying to get to some money, you need to focus on your work getting you to some money. Focus on the things you can do that feel right for you, that can get you where you want to go. So moving on from that, we're going to do the spread in the middle. And if you chose that spread, this is very, very, very interesting. Okay, so for sex, we have the Two of Pentacles. For love, we have the Four of Cups reversed. And for money, we have the Emperor reversed. Um, so I'll just start with sex. For sex, we've got the Two of Pentacles. This feels like, for sex, for creation, this is the Two of Pentacles. Um, there is the energy here is it's grounded. It's relatively stable. Um, it feels like some of you, if you pick this card, you're seeing multiple people. You're kind of juggling a bunch of people, and you're just going about your business, and you're feeling very fulfilled with it. This is kind of like if you pick this spread, your sexual energy, your creative energy is very busy going into this weekend, and it's not. It's a good thing. It's to your benefit because you're going to be able to shut out the bullshit around you and focus on your creation, on your creating ability. Um, it feels like you're ultimately you're gonna have a very peaceful weekend. And again, even if you're not having a bunch of sex, this is still creation. This is still your sacral chakra. So this is going to be a very peaceful space for you this weekend to create a lot, to create and to do things and to see what comes up for you. There's really the struggle only comes if you let it. So moving from that into love, we've got the Four Cups reversed. And what I'm getting with the Four of Cups reversed is losing focus on what's in front of you, looking for an unexpected blessing. So in love, this, I feel this comes up because some of you have gotten accustomed to expecting the unexpected, and you're so lodged into that space that you're not looking at what's right before you. I mean, yeah, there's a blessing here for you, but you've also got you got a bunch of other shit going on as well, and you need to focus on what's before you, um, for better or for worse, because your blessing is there, but you need to make sure you're seeing the whole picture. That's what's coming up. You need to make sure you're seeing the whole picture here. Um, I think it's a pretty brief message for love. Make sure you're seeing the whole picture, and that kind of, again, love energy dominates. So that's bleeding over into the sex and into the money portions of this spread. Um, Again, and that kind of blends with the Two of Pentacles because you've got so much going on. You've got so much going on sexually. You've got so much going on as a creator, And maybe you've been so focused on making magic happen that you've lost sight of the mundane, and you shouldn't. It all matters. That's what's coming up there. So for money, we've got the Emperor reversed, and the Emperor reverse comes up because it's just a sign you just need to take things a bit more easily. Take things easy going into this weekend. Um, the Emperor always has everything he needs to get to where he wants to go. And in the reverse position, it feels like some of you think you lack the tools to get ahead, and that's not your reality. Again, the Four of Cups reversed. Focus on the mundane as well as the special, as well as the things that catch you off guard, because you do have the tools you need, but the issue here is in your approach. You need to take a more laid back approach to things. You need to do more to let things flow. That's just coming up with the Emperor reversed. The Emperor is a very structured, very grounded, present, reliable, consistent, and the energy here. We've seen this before. We've seen the Emperor reverse before, and it's giving the same message as it did the last time, which is just take things easy and let things flow. Don't force anything. Let it flow. Be a little carefree. Have some faith that in your own abilities, because again, the Emperor does not come up in an insignificant situation here. You are gifted and you are capable of manifesting exactly what you desire, but you have to have that faith, and you have to stop being so boxed in with how you do it. So that's what's coming up there. With that said, let's move on to the last spread. And for sex, we've got the Four of Pentacles reversed. For love, we've got Death. And for money, we've got the Seven of Pentacles reversed. And this really feels a lot like a lot like the first spread, where we've got the two reverse cards around the upright card in the middle. Um, for this one, I'm going to start with Death. I'm going to start with love. Love is death. Death is love. Um, there's a need. There's something you're you're kind of holding on to, and it's starting to wither away. So the message right there for you is, first and foremost, death is not without hope. Death is transformation. Death is something transforming from one form into another. So in love, think of this as you are evolving past something you no longer need into something that's custom made for you. And yeah, you may be thinking that the present situation you're in, you thought, well, yeah, you thought that was custom made for you once upon a time too, but times have changed, and the universe is very willing to accommodate that. What came up what came up earlier this week is just a reminder that the universe will never ask you to stay in a lower vibration situation after you've learned the lesson that comes with it. And it feels like a lot of you have learned that lesson, and it's just time to let go and let God. This is a weekend. If you pick this spread on the right, this is don't really attach yourself to a lot, because there's no need to. And what you may be trying to attach yourself to, it could be leaving you. It could need to leave you. So, and this doesn't just go for people, but for perspectives, for the way you approach things, for the way you react to certain events. That this love energy, this stability energy, this is all about breaking down and wither and letting the things that affect your ability to feel love and feel safe and feel protected. It's about letting those things wither away. And it may take you to some very strange places, but it's always to your benefit. So with that love energy, so with that love energy explained, I should also say before I move on that again, this is a weekend that's kind of very ripe for new things. So this transformation is not incomplete. Whatever you lose is ready to come back to you in a far better way. So keep that in mind. And with that said, let me move on to the sex portion. We have the Four of Pentacles reversed, and I'm feeling like I should not interpret these as reversed, but more as again like the first spread. This particular setup is a message standing on its own, and the message here is that as I always mentioned, love energy dominates, and this death, this loss, this transformation, it's really going to govern these two areas. So with that said, but let me get back to the Four of Pentacles reversed. The energy that's coming up here is if you feel you are in short supply of something, the worst thing you can do is become miserly with it. So like if you're not creating much, if you're not having a lot of sex, the worst thing you can do is approach. Don't approach every moment it's like it needs to last you. Don't approach anything like once this is gone, this is it. And especially if you are enjoying, especially if you do have an active sex life, if this resonates with you sexually, you have to learn how to let go, and you need to be more like the Six of Pentacles, which is about balance, or more like Temperance, again, which is also great growth and balance. You have to let things flow. You have to let things flow into your space. You have to let them flow out of your space. You need to keep that equilibrium going because that's the way you manifest your abundance, by letting things come and go as they need to. So this is also a card. This is also the message I'm getting here with this card is also to be very wary about your expectations and how you set expectations and how you let them govern your movement. Because this card is giving me Four of Cups vibes as well, in that something may approach you in an unexpected manner and you kind of turn your nose up at it because it's not coming at you the way you would expect it. But yeah, so with this Four of Pentacles, with this energy here, you want to make sure you're being a lot more open sexually. You're not open sexually, open creatively. You're not tying everything down with rules. And with that, we're going to move on into the last card of the spread, which is the Seven of Pentacles energy. And the Seven of Pentacles is pretty much a simple reminder that you're gonna get out what you put in. The Pentacles are Earth, and Earth is inherently it's slowly moving unless it's inspired by a major event like the Tower or death. Um, in which case you may manifest things in an unpredictable fashion. But the message here always is, you have to let go of let go of old ways of thinking as it relates to sex and money and love, and trust your work. That's what's coming up in this energy here. For what you want to manifest, trust your work. Let your work pay off. Because that's really the energy we're getting into for this weekend. Let your work pay off. So before we go, I'm just going to pull a couple of cards and see what they have for us. up the Six of Wands, the Nine of Wands, and Ten of Pentacles reversed. Okay, this will give me huge vibes of the from the last from the general reading that I just did earlier. If you missed that, I'll have a link for it. So going into the weekend, this is kind of like the weekend energy. This is Friday, Six of Wands, really. Yeah, some of you probably got paid or whatever. And then we got the Nine of Wands, and this is telling me some of you might go a little too hard tonight. Make sure you're hydrating yourself. Make sure you're well nourished. Seriously, because I don't remember what the moon is in, but it feels like if you go too hard tonight, you're definitely gonna feel it tomorrow. And then for Sunday, we've got the Ten of Pentacles reversed, and this is kind of like a lack of feeling fulfilled. And again, I'm going to share the message that I got in the last spread, and this is telling me that a lot of you really hate your jobs. A lot of you are not in a space where you're not liking what you do for money, and everything is interconnected, and it's really affecting the way you see other things in your life. So, if that's you really need to get on making that change. Don't wait another day. Work on putting yourself into a better situation with your money, with your work, because it really does affect everything you do. So, because like I said, we get this Ten of Pentacles energy, and it feels like your peace has just been disturbed. And for a lot of people, once Sunday comes, you're kind of in a shitty mood because you have work on Monday. So that's kind of what I'm getting. Um, there's a lot of action, which is good. This is a good weekend to get out and do things. But again, just be very careful about overdoing things, because you can very easily go from the figure of the Six of Pentacles to being all beat to shit in the Six of Wands to being all beat to shit in the Nine of Wands, because I think those are actually the same person. So just enjoy your great moments, but just don't overindulge. Try not to drink too much. Try not to smoke too much, eat too much, etc., 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 because it's really going to come back on you this weekend. Um, so that's all I have for you guys today. If you did not, I really suggest you check out the general reading for this weekend as well. As always, just take whatever resonates within you and pass it on. Don't stress the rest. And enjoy your weekends. Enjoy your weekend. Live, love, be peaceful. Bye.